Hi, Jamie. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Barquito. Of A Felicio. Oh, Artur. Hey. Hey, everyone. Hey, Rosalinda. Welcome, welcome. If you have a question for me, what I want to do today is I want to get kind of specific with your question. So, whatever question you have for me, tell me one thing that you are struggling with right now that you have question on that you want me to answer. So be as specific as you can. And I think it's more helpful, like rather than just asking, general advice and things like that. When you ask specific question, it's much better. So that's what we're going to try to do. If you're on YouTube, just put it in the comments. If you have specific question for me, just go ahead and put it in the sticker tab right here. And I'll also try to vote up the questions you want to answer. So yeah, just open any question you have, but something that you're specifically, hi Damon and Joy, something that you're specifically struggling with. If you want me to answer you on or anything like that, just put it in the question tab, and I'll answer it. Okay. So this week at Night Owl Nation, I'm sorry if I've been kind of quiet this week because I've been really working on getting this. I've been working on this 10-week program, which is we're gonna start registration for new small groups in about 2.5 weeks. In about 2.5 weeks, we're gonna start open up registration, and you're gonna be able to join small groups for 2 weeks, and then after that, we're gonna start this 10-week program, which I've been working on, and I'm kind of finishing up right now. And this 10-week program is specifically designed with it's designed for you to get weekly mentorship from me, number one. Number two, there's weekly assignments that exercises that you do every week, which is gonna get you to practice storytelling. Like every week there's gonna be exercise that you do storytelling exercise that's gonna help you learn something new. And then lastly, number three, there's going to be workshops. So whatever you work on, you bring, and then it's going to be a Q&A session, kind of workshopping session. Now, at the end of this 10-week program, by the time you finish the 10-week program, you're going to basically rethink everything you think you know about you, your life, your business. Everything is going to change after this 10 weeks. So I highly, highly suggest you to join a small group in 2 weeks, or if you're not part of Night Owl Nation, definitely join Night Owl Nation. Okay, let's get into the questions. So this week's topic was about leadership. First question. Anna C. Canvas. I am very lost and I don't know what I really want to build. Do you have advice for it? Okay, so this is the most common question that I get. So let's break this down, right? Yeah, so put it in your chat if you, or like raise your hand in the chat or something like that if you're having similar issue, right? Like if you're struggling to either, okay, put it in the chat if what you're struggling with is clarity, meaning, son, I don't know, I don't know what I really want to do. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my why is. I don't know what my niche is. I don't know what my unique differentiator is. I don't know what my what my brand story is. I don't know what my brand message should be. Like all of those things, yes. Just put it in the chat, comment, anything, yes. If you're struggling with any of these type of clarity on any kind of clarity in my purpose, my brand, my message, my story, anything like that, go ahead and put it in the chat. So this is the number one question that I get. Every time I feel like 80% of the questions that I get has something to do with finding clarity. And yesterday I was recording a podcast episode that's going to air tomorrow. And we really got into this. Hi, Sarah. We really dug into this, okay? And I think this is what's happening. It's a lot of times what we feel is that we need to be able to define exactly who we are, right? Like there's this one thing that I need to do. There's this one thing I need to pursue, or this one brand message, or one something that I need to do in order for me to be fulfilled. But here's the thing. This is gonna blow your mind, actually. Okay, listen to this. You know how so what happens is when I start work, because I do personal branding, brand storytelling, and making websites for clients. When I first start working with a client, the first thing they ask me is, "Son, I love how you guys did the messaging, the story and the messaging for Darman, or I love what you did here for Jay Shetty, or I love how clear it is for Mel Robbins," and that's what they all tell me, and that's that's kind of what I want for my brand. This is what I want for my brand. I want that kind of clarity in my brand. Son, can you come up with a line? Can you come up with a tagline? Can you write one story or one something that's going to define our brand just as clear as those guys, right? And here's what I will tell you, right? Now I'm going to go back and ask you. If you think Oprah's brand is so clear, if you think Tony Robbins' brand is so clear, if you think Gary Vee's brand is so clear, all these personal brands you see, if you think their brand is so, it doesn't even have to be a personal brand, any brand. If you think their brand is so clear, tell me what it is. What's Tony Robbins' brand? What's Tony Robbins' brand? What's his tagline? What is it about? Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, Tony Robbins he's a motivational speaker. He's all about hyping people up. He's all about energy and things like that." And some people might be like, "Oh, he's all about peak performance." And some people might feel like he's all about mindset. Everybody, different people are gonna think different. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Tony, it's so clear, and it's this." But then somebody else might be like, "No, it's not this." And you know what's gonna happen? If Tony Robbins walked into my agency and sat with me and we were about to do a brand strategy together, I guarantee you Tony Robbins is going to come to me and say, "Son, I need more clarity in my brand, son. I don't know. I don't really all the clients that you work with, it seems like they're so clear, but I need that clarity in my brand." That's what he's going to say, because that's what all these clients say to me. Every single one of those clients all say that to me. So you might think that those people that have a clear brand and you don't, they have a clear why and you don't, and they have this clear, I know what to do. I have this clear goal, and you're lost. That's not what's happening here, okay? All those people think that you think found clarity are also lost, just like you. Do you understand what I mean? This is the reason why that's happening. The reason why that's happening is because here's the thing. If I took a the business mastery class from Tony Robbins or something like that, and I went to this and I read his the book about investing and things like that and all the money business stuff, I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, this guy's like a business coach." That's his branding for me, okay? But the thing is, if you look at Tony Robbins as a whole, as a person, that business coaching, the money business coaching part is just one tiny part of it. It's a tiny little slice of it out of that, right? But I think that's his brand. Do you understand what I mean? And that's really the problem. There is no one thing that defines you, all of you, okay? But there's a slice of you, there's a tiny little slice of you that defines who you are for the rest of the world. And we have to be okay with that. We have to be okay with that our brand message, that one thing that defines our brand message or whatever it is, or whatever product we're selling at that time, or that story that we're telling here, We ourselves have to be okay with the fact that that's our message, that we pigeonhole ourselves into that, and I'm fine with that. You have to be okay with that, right? Even though this is not you, this is you. You have to be okay with the fact that your brand is here. That's called killing your darlings, right? These are all your. So to give you an example, I'm going to give you an example here. So for example, for me, some people know me as maybe Sun's like constantly always talking about not setting goals or not having a clear niche, right? Not finding a niche, not finding a purpose, and letting the purpose find you, right? Sun's always talking about that. Sun's always talking about myth, truth, and analogy. Sun's always talking about connecting the dots. Sun's always talking about authenticity and being authentic, right? Sun's always talking about storytelling and like all about storytelling. His son's always like to different people, they think that I talk about different things. And I do talk about all of those things. Okay? But the thing is, 50% of the people are going to know me maybe as storytelling and storyteller or something to do with storytelling. Then that's going to be my brand. That's going to be, I'm a storyteller now. You say that I'm a storyteller, I'm a storyteller. And I'm okay with that. Even though I know that that's not all I am. I'm much, much more than just a storyteller. I can teach design, I can teach coding, I can teach about these life concepts. There's a lot of other things that defines me that's much more important than storytelling. But if you say I'm a storyteller, I'm okay with pigeonholing myself as a storyteller. I'm fine with that. Okay? And I'm okay to kill all my darlings. Oh, like that I want to teach critical thinking. I want to teach this. I want to teach all these other things that I care about. I don't have. It's okay if you don't know me as that. That's fine. I'm fine defining myself as the storyteller. Okay, and most people are not. They feel that brand message, that brand mission, that brand purpose, whatever it is that you're defining, has to encapsulate all of you. That this has to define you. Otherwise, it's not good enough. And that's the problem. That it doesn't have to define you. It just have to define one piece of you. That's all. And that thing can also change all the time. And that's okay. The fact that you feel that I need to put all of my eggs in this one basket. I need to figure out what I really, really want to do. I need to figure out what I really, really want to build. Oh, I really, really want to be a coach. I really, really want to do this. I really, really want to be a speaker, whatever it is, right? And then once you know that, then you found it, right? That's what you're thinking. But what I'm trying to tell you here right now is that's not the way it works. It's not, don't put all your eggs in that one basket of this one thing that you need to build, because it's never like that, okay? Life is, you have to build 250 different things in life, okay? And this brand message is just one of them. That's it. It doesn't define your whole life. If you try to define your whole life based on your career, your brand message, your brain story, like if you try to define your life like that, I fucking guarantee you will end up miserable. You will end up miserable. Because you're going to keep saying like, oh, this is pointless. Oh, this is not I'm not having meaning in my life. You're going to keep saying that every fucking 3 months. Okay? Any questions you have, put it in the chat. So here's what I'll say. For every single one of you guys watching that feels lost right now and that are looking at somebody who's successful, right? Somebody who has a successful brand, somebody who has a successful business, somebody who's a successful artist, a musician, somebody who's successful. If you're looking at them, be like, oh wow, I wish I had that much clarity. I wish I knew what I wanted like that. I wish I was like Sun. I wish I was like this so I can go all in. If you feel that way, I fucking guarantee you those people also feel lost. Those people also feeling like, I wish I was clear on what I fucking guarantee you. Okay? So feeling lost Like not knowing, oh, what's the one thing that I need to follow, like that feeling, that's a universal human feeling. Okay, every human feels that, and that's normal, and we're supposed to feel that way. You know why? Because that is the uncertainty of what's gonna happen tomorrow is life. That is fucking life. Do you understand what I mean? So you can't possibly know. You can't possibly define life like that. Like, okay, anyway, I think I talk enough. I'm gonna try to go faster, guys. Okay. Put all your questions and vote it up. If there's any questions, go in here. And then if there's any questions you want to answer, just like it. Okay. Coach Sumit Sharma. I'm struggling to get into a new routine since I quit my job just 8 days ago. That's a really tough one. You know why? Because I struggle with the same thing. So I really struggle with self-discipline. It's the one thing. It is like my one weakness, right? Like it's my biggest weakness is self-discipline. So, okay. I guess okay. Here's the advice that I will give, and it's the only advice that really worked for me. And I heard it from James Clear from Atomic Habits. So it's kind of like the concept of, you know, that Navy SEAL that gave that speech in graduation day, like make your bed in the morning, because when you do that, like that, it's actually that feeling of accomplishment of making your bed sets you up to accomplish the next one and next one, and you'll win your whole day like that, just by starting with that one small action of making your bed, right? So yeah, that's what I would fucking say. Like whatever time you're gonna wake up, just wake up and make your bed. That's it. And this is the part that I heard from Atomic Habits. So what he says is, like, if your goal is to go to the gym, just make it a point. Make your goal to just wake up in a certain time, put on your sneakers, go outside, and then just come right back in. Make that your goal, not like running for an hour, right? Because once you make that your goal, the next will automatically happen. And I really found that to be true, right? So if you just make your goal like, all I'm gonna do is just wake up at this time and make my bed. That's it, nothing else. But I guarantee you, when you wake up at the time and make your bed, the next will all make it fall in line. It's like that first decision you make in the morning is really gonna set you up for success or failure. Like whatever the first thing you do in the morning, like if the first thing you do is you wake up and you fucking eat some junk food and you fucking take a hit or you fucking, whatever it is, then for the rest of the day, you're not going to do shit. Something like that. Another thing is, for me, what really helped me this is like when I was like doing my side hustle. One thing that helped me is like, even when I work at home, like I would, get up, get ready, take a shower, get dressed as if I'm going to work, and then like just pretend like I'm really at a 9-to-5 job. It's here's the thing. What you're struggling with right now, there are a lot of people who go to prison for like 10 years, 20 years, for a long time. And like by the time they're about to get out, like after 20 years or something like that, they actually prefer to stay in prison. Like they don't want to be free. It's because they become so accustomed to the comfort and the routine of this prison life that they're scared of the uncertainties of what's going to happen out in the real world, right? So that it's almost the same. Like it's the perfect fucking story of like that story from the Bible when the fucking Jews were running and like they were running away. They freed the slaves, right? And but then the slaves, like now they were lost in the desert and they didn't know what to do, right? It's because as soon as you get your freedom, like that's gonna happen to you. Because what happens is, one of the good thing about working at a company, working in a 9-to-5 job, working in a job, is that there's a routine, and they force you to follow that routine. You have to come to work at this point. You have to do this. You have to go to lunch. But these routine what this routine does is it forces you to fit into that routine. So you become kind of a slave to that routine. But at the same time, it's great because you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about doing that yourself. But as soon as you quit your job and you're home and you're doing it, you have full control and full freedom. Now you can do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody's telling you to wake up in the morning. Nobody's telling you to come to whatever. But at the same time, everything that happens is also your fault, right? So it's both. And a lot of times when you get that kind of freedom, people don't know what to do with it. They're like, oh, fuck, right? So that's the beauty of having that, not having that freedom. The downside of having the freedom is now you got to take responsibility for your own life, for your own routines, so you have to learn how to, you have to learn how to literally be your own boss, right? And you have to learn how to be your own boss so think of it like this, right? You have you, and you are managing yourself, like you are your own boss. But then think about it. However you are to yourself is how you are going to be a boss to other people as well. Do you know what I mean? So think about it. Trust me, you need to practice being your own boss. You need to practice disciplining, telling yourself like, son, show up, don't come to work on late. Son, do this on time. Son, do this. Son, talk to this person. Son, make these calls. Son, make your content. You need to learn how to be your own boss in a way that you're not a tyrant. Because I guarantee you're a fucking tyrant. Okay? Because you're a tyrant to yourself and you're a tyrant to others. Like most bosses are, right? So you have to learn how to be your own boss, and you have to learn how to be, you have to, being a good boss is like this, right? Being a good boss means you have to being a good boss, good parent or something like that is you have to have that balance, right? On one end, you're a tyrant. You're like, just do what I say. Oh, because I said so. Oh, son, no, because I said so. Just do it, right? That's the tyrant boss, right? And then on the other side, they say, oh, it's okay. Oh, fuck, that's fine. Wherever you are, it's perfect, son. It's fine. That's fine. No problem. Like, there's this, like, when you're a tyrant like this, you're a bad boss. Because nobody's going to fucking follow you because you're a tyrant. You're authoritarian. When you're like this, you're a bad boss because you're fucking everything up for everyone else because you're not leading. You're just fucking, all you're doing is you're chasing validation and you want all your employees to like you or something like that, right? So either way, you're bad. Somewhere in between is where a good boss is, right? And I guarantee you are one of these to yourself. Do you know what I mean? You're either a tyrant to yourself or you're too soft on yourself. You're either way, you're not leading yourself, I guarantee you. So learn how to lead yourself before you can lead others. Do you understand what I mean? All you guys everybody fucking sitting here going like, oh, I want to lead, I want to be a CEO, I want to fucking build a community, blah, 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 blah. None of you guys know how to lead yourself. Like, that's what leading yourself means. Being a good boss to yourself. Not a tyrant, not a lazy fucker, but being a good boss to yourself. And that means disciplining yourself. Like handling those freedom, right? Fuck, I'm sorry I'm going so long on all these questions. I'll try to go faster. Okay. Next question. For us, Ref. How to balance between being thirsty for pleasure of life and being thirsty for work and success? I would say it's not really being thirsty for pleasure versus work and success. That's not how you look at it, okay? I want you to look at it like this. There's a difference between pleasure and happiness and fulfillment, okay? So here, I'll give you a good example, right? Let's say you go out and you want to eat healthy, and you're eating healthy and you're working out and you're doing well and you're seeing progress in your body, and then all of a sudden there's like a pizza that you want to eat, right? Obviously, so obviously you think, oh yeah, I'm my true authentic self is my authentic self is telling me to eat the pizza. My gut is telling me to eat the pizza. That's what you go. Is your gut really telling you to eat the pizza, or is your ego telling you to eat the pizza? Right? So when it comes to all of these fucking things, right? A lot of people say that, right? Like they're like, son, but like so many people fucking use excuses. Like so many people hear this advice and they just completely strip the fucking meaning out of that advice. And then what they do is they translate it in their own fucking head to fit their own narrative. And then they spit it back out, right? Like, oh, you're perfect the way you are. Oh, no, you don't have to try anything. You're perfect. You're just you're happy. The only way you're gonna be happy is just exactly the way you are, right? So, son, if I want to be happy, if I'm really like being authentic to myself, shouldn't I just eat that pizza? If I'm really being authentic to myself, shouldn't I? Okay, somebody's like, oh, son, does this dress make me look fat? Son, shouldn't you be authentic? Shouldn't you be like, yeah, it does make you look fat? Shouldn't you tell the truth? Be authentic, right? But here's the thing, right? Son, shouldn't you be authentic and just eat that pizza? Oh, shouldn't you be authentic and just fucking, whatever that pleasure is, eat the fucking cake, or whatever the pleasure is, shouldn't you just be authentic to yourself and just do it? But here's the question I'm going to turn back to you. Stop fucking lying to yourself and ask yourself the fucking truth, right? In every one of those situations, every single one of those situations, when the pizza presents itself, you have this urge to do this, you have this urge to eat this, you have the urge to fucking get drunk, and you have this urge, whatever that urge of life pleasure is, right? Versus, of course, you don't have the urge to fucking sit there and make content. Of course, you don't have the urge to go put on your sneakers and go to the gym. You don't have those urges. You have those other urges. Every time those happens, truly deep inside, ask yourself, do you know the correct answer? Right? Do you know the correct, like, I think you yourself are the only one that can answer that question, right? Like when we're sitting there being lazy, eating pizza and watching Netflix, only we know. We can try to outsmart ourselves and come up with all the million excuses and tell everybody else like, oh yeah, I had a rough day. Like, oh, I deserve this break. Oh yeah, like, oh, everybody needs one vice. Oh yeah, I'm okay. Like, I'm just gonna have one drink. It's okay. Like, you can fucking make up all of the excuses to other people all you want. You can lie to other people all you want. That this is just me finding a balance between my pleasure versus like fulfillment or whatever it is. You can lie all you want, but I guarantee you, deep down in your heart, you fucking know. You know. You know whether you're fucking up. You know when you're fucking up. You know when that's okay. When you know when you deserve that break, and when you didn't deserve that break, and you're just fucking using it as an excuse. You know. I fucking guarantee it. You just don't have the courage to admit it and say, that's what I'm doing. And just fucking stop. That's it. And that is leading yourself. That is not fucking trying to be this like, oh, you're trying to not trying to be out here trying to use these excuses, but actually trying to make yourself better. Actually trying to lead yourself. Because you know, right? Because I know a lot of people like that. Oh, son, I'm working so hard. I'm hustling. I'm doing blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, what have you done? Well, like, how are you working so hard? And be like, I've been doing all this. I've been booking all these like flights. I've been having all these meetings with like, I'm like, what the fuck are you getting out of those fucking meetings? Like, you going on a fucking, these fucking flights and going to these meetings that's not bringing you any business. That's not fucking work. That's not called hustling. That's just you fucking going on Instagram so that you can fucking show off and trying to act like you're a fucking CEO. That's not called fucking hustling, okay? So deep down inside, that's the thing about fucking authenticity. Son, how do I be more authentic? Son, how do I know? Like, how do I balance this between this? How do I know? You know. That's all I can say. You know when you're not being authentic. You know when you're being a little fucking bitch. You know when you're like You know that when you lie to yourself, you know that when you said something and you shouldn't have said, you know all of those things. So I'm not gonna. So the answer is you know. Don't act like you don't know. You know. Next question. Okay. L L LGF Fry. How can I get my first client as a freelancer? So this is another very common question that I get. How do you get your first client? So, like for me, the question, I'm gonna answer it a little bit different way, right? The question isn't about how you get your first client. That's not the important question. Everybody's like, how do you get your first client? How do you get your first client? How do you? What you really mean is, how do I get my first well-paying client? That's what you really mean, right? You don't mean how do I get my first client of this 17-year-old kid in a garage who's starting a fucking bullshit startup that wants a website and want to pay me $5 to do the website. That's not the kind of client you're talking about, right? So what you're actually talking about is, how do I get my first good paying client? That's what you're really asking, right? So I'm going to answer this. How you get to your first good paying client is by being awesome to that client right before that. That's going to refer you to that client, okay? Who didn't pay as much. And how do you get that client? Is being awesome to the client right before that, who's going to refer you to that client, okay? And how do you get that client? Is by being awesome to the client before that, who's going to refer you to that client. You see where I'm fucking getting at? You see how the question that you're asking is not really the question? Like, to answer your question, which is the real question is, how do I get my first well-paying client? The real answer to that question is boom, 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 right? How do I get this client who's going to refer me to that client? How do I get this client who's going to refer me to that client? How do I get this client who's going to refer me to that client? Blah, 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 all the way down, right? So the real answer is just fucking be awesome and just deliver miracle to every client, every one of these levels. And that's how you get to the point where you get your first well-paying client. So the question is, how do I get my first client as a freelancer? Like, because how you get your first client as a freelancer is easy. Just go fucking find a business that's looking for a website or looking for whatever you do, and you do it for free. That's how you get your first client. But that's not your real question. Your real question is, how do I get my first well-paying client? And to get that, just keep fucking being awesome. That's it. I think the real answer that you guys really want, which I'm not gonna fucking give you, because it's bullshit answer. That's what everyone else gives you, right? Is this, right? What everybody wants to know is, son, how do I get client without actually getting better at what I do? How do I make the fucking big money without having to get to the big talent? That's basically what you're asking me. So basically what you're asking me is, how can I scam people to pay me this much when I'm actually over here? Son, teach me how to do that. Teach me how to rip people off so that they can fucking overpay me for garbage work. That's what you're asking me. So I'm not going to answer you that. My answer is going to be, okay, you want to get paid this much? Get your skill up to this much. Then you'll get paid that much. That's my answer. Okay? Okay, next question. This one's a long one. Okay, Joyful Soul. I feel scared to begin as a freelancer in social media. There are literally zillions of social media managers out there. How do I navigate through the noise and start finding my clients? I am also worried if social media management is becoming saturated and obsolete. Okay, I'm going to answer your question in two levels, okay? One, first I'll give you the practical answer. And the second one, I'm going to give you the more deeper sun answer, okay? So the first answer is this. There are fucking zillions of restaurants out there, but people are still opening restaurants every year. There's zillions of like clothing stores out there, but people are opening up clothing stores, right? Like, why is that happening, right? Because the reason why people open a restaurant is this. It's because they think they can do better. They see all the restaurants out there, and I think I can do better. That's why they open a restaurant, right? So it's the same thing. If you're really like my previous answer, if you're really good in social media, if you're really, really good in that thing, then you wouldn't be asking that question, right? Because you're like, oh, I know how everybody sucks, and I know I could be better. So that's not the real question. I think it is, right? You never want to go into a field where you're just like all you want is just the arbitrage. You don't want to go into a field where your opportunity is the arbitrage. Meaning right now, social media is the hot thing, so I'll get into social media. And then in 5 years from now, when NFT is the next hot thing, I'll get into NFT. And 5 years from now, when AI is the hot thing, I'll get into AI. Like, you don't want to keep chasing that for the rest of your life, because at some point, you'll fucking lose, right? Like, and that's a terrible way to do business, because it's gambling, okay? So go into an industry like social media or whatever it is because you feel that you can make a dent in it. You feel that you can do it better than others. You feel that that's what you want to double down on. Not because that's a new hot thing right now. That's the worst way to get into it, right? So I'll say that first. No matter how saturated social media is, by the way, it's not. Social media marketing agencies is not saturated because you know how I know? Here's how I know. Because every fucking day, I have fucking clients coming to ask me, son, do you know a good social media marketer? Do you know this person? Do you know somebody a social media manager? Or do you know a designer who can make my social media? Do you know a video editor who can edit my reels? Do you know? Every fucking day, people are asking me to find them people to help them with their social media. So obviously, it's not. It's not the reason why you fucking think that it's a flooded, it's a flooded market. There's zillions of social media marketers. It's flooded. What's the point of going into it? Here's what's really happening, right? You want me to show you what's really happening? Okay. Here's a zillion social media marketers out here, right? All saying that they're social media marketer, right? Here are the actual clients, okay? There's a tiny little overlap where now most of the clients are still fucking looking for even though there's zillion social media marketers out there, most people are still looking for social media marketers. Why? If there's zillion social media marketers out there, should be easy to find social media marketer, right? So why everybody coming to me asking me if I know a social media marketer? Because yes, there are zillion social media marketers out there, and 99.9999% of them don't fucking know what they're doing. So what happens? Oh, they get some clients sitting there, some marketing director sitting there, and they go to work and they get a fucking LinkedIn message from some social media marketer, some 21-year-old social media marketer sends them a linking message. It's like, hey, I can do this for you. So I just pay him $3,000 a month and have him do it. Nothing happens. After 6 months, I'm like, fuck, this isn't working. Let's try this social media company. I hire them. This isn't working. And after 3 years of that, I realized that everyone sucks. After 3 years of wasting fucking my money hiring social media manager after social media manager after social media manager after social media manager, none of them work. So what happens? They come to me and say, son, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone that's actually good? The same exact thing happens with designers. The same exact thing happens with video editors. This fucking shit happens with everyone. Like, all the fucking designers come to me and be like, son, the UX UI design is so flooded. Like, it's so competitive. Is it still worth it to get into it? Blah, 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 blah. You think UI UX design is flooded? Yeah, you think so? Because you know how many fucking people come and ask me for UI UX designers every fucking day? No, trust me, none of these fields that you think is over flooded are actually over flooded. Like, you think there's too many developers? Oh, everybody's a developer now. Everybody. No. You know how many fucking people come ask me for developers? It's because 99.9999% of these so-called AI people, so-called NFT experts, so-called marketing experts, so-called social media experts, so-called video editors, designer, so-called whatever the expert is, 99.999999999% of them are fucking garbage. They don't fucking know what they're doing. So clients hire them to build their social media, and then they don't build their social media. So then they come to me. So trust me that none of these fucking freelancing market is over flooded. Okay? Okay. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into this question. I want to go a little bit deeper into this question. So I don't think you should be looking at like, oh, should I still stick with social media or not? Should I go into this or not? Should I go into this or not? I don't want you to live life like that. That's like trying to live life, deciding, like already making up your mind, oh, I'm going to marry this person. Okay? You haven't even gone on a date with this person yet, and you already made up your mind that you're going to marry that person. That's basically what you're doing, right? This is the problem with that, right? Number one, how the fuck do you know that you're going to be happy with that person, right? Number one, you don't know that. So this is why people think that they want to be a lawyer. People think that they want to be a web designer. People think that they want to go into advertising, and they work 10 years in that field. They're fucking stressed out. They hate their job, and they quit their job, and they become a coach. Okay? I've seen it. Or they become a yoga teacher. I've seen it a million times, right? So this is what happens, right? The second thing is because they made up their mind, oh, I want to do this. I want to be a lawyer. Oh, I'm going to marry that person, right? When you actually go on that date, when you try to do it, because you already made up your mind, like all of your that person feels the pressure. It doesn't work because you are just fucking forcing this thing to happen. It's just not going to happen. Do you understand what I mean? So here's my more deeper next level advice. Live your life as if you're just looking for the next right step. Don't think about, social media, like is social media about? Don't think about that shit. Just take the right next step and see what opportunities present itself to you and follow that thread. And if that thread takes you to being a social media manager, great. If it doesn't, it takes you to being a chef, then follow that. That's what you were supposed to be. But you're not really truly listening to yourself if you're not just taking the next best step, right? So the other day, I saw Jocko Willink being interviewed on Russell Brunson's live thing, and he was telling his story, and he was talking about how he was listen to this story, right? Because Jocko right now has written 2 best-selling books. He has one of the most popular podcasts. He has a huge brand. He has a leadership company. He has huge jean brands. He has beverage brands, and he's wildly successful right now, right? But listen to this story. He was a Navy SEAL platoon. He was a Navy SEAL, and then he became a platoon leader, and then he became a commanding officer, and he built his way up. For 20 years, he was in the SEALs. And when he left, he was going to retire. But one of his friends, who happened to be an executive at this big company, said, Jocko, can you come speak to my group of 40 leadership team here? And Jocko was like, nah, I'm retired, man. And he's like, I'll pay you a little bit. And then he paid him, so he gave this talk, right? But then right after the talk, he was like, "Oh, that was so great! Like, can you go do it for all of the other divisions?" And that was so great. And then after that, one of them had one of those leaders knew somebody else who owned who was CEO of all these other who owned these other companies. Like, and he said, "Can you come speak to my CEOs?" And then after he's doing that, he's like, "Oh, can you do this again?" And all those CEOs started asking him. Like, so after he kept doing that, somebody's like, "Oh, it's great, but like, can you give us a manual that we can follow after you leave?" So they put together this manual. And when they saw this manual, one of the people who read the manual had a friend who was a literary agent who saw that, "Hey, you have a book here." And they turned it into a book. And then the book did really well. And then because of the book tour, Tim Ferriss asked him to be on his podcast, and when he was talking on his podcast, and then he went to Joe Rogan to talk about his podcast, and both Tim Ferriss and Joe Rogan, the two biggest podcasters, told Jocko that he should start his own podcast. So he started his own podcast, and a few years later, it became. You see where I'm going here? You see where I'm going? Did Jocko fucking sit there and like? Did Jocko like sit there, whatever, 6-8 years ago and said, "Okay, here's the plan. Okay, here's the goal. I'm gonna start a Jocko podcast. We're gonna have a YouTube channel. We're gonna have this tea company. We're gonna have this gin company, and we're gonna have this blah blah blah. And then I'm gonna write a book here. Here's my roadmap." Did he do that? No. Nobody fucking gets there like that. Do you understand what I mean? So that's my bigger advice: is don't try to design step 10 when you haven't even solved step 1 yet. Most of you guys are right now asking me questions about, "Oh, what do I do at step 10, son? Oh, I'm worried about step 10. When you know for a fact that there's a step 1 that you know you have to do right now, you can do right now, that you're ignoring, you're avoiding. Like, the question like, what's my brand? What am I really selling? Blah, blah, blah. That's step 10. Those questions that you're asking me is step 10. You know what's step 1? Post a reel. Post an Instagram reel. Post a piece of content today. That's step 1. Step 2, post it tomorrow. Step 3, post it the day after. There's fucking shit that you need to do right now, right in front of your doorstep. Step 1. And you don't want to take that step, but you're worried about step 10 right now. What the fuck? And this is why most people don't succeed, because they're sitting daydreaming about step 10 and therefore not taking step 1. So that's the real answer. Not this social media. Is social media the future? I don't fucking know. Who cares? Who cares, right? Like, I stopped trying to predict the future, what the future is gonna be, because everything that I've ever fucking thought has come. Like, who would have fucking thought that 15 years ago, right? Just 15 years ago, when there was no such thing as an iPhone, right? Who would have thought that 15 years ago, anybody would have ever thought that this fucking piece of machine would not only build careers, create a fucking billionaire like Mr. Beast, but influence elections and basically fucking change the world? Who would have fucking thought that? That's something that none of us could have ever fucking predicted. Who would have thought that this little machine, that with the API that allows all the developers to build apps on it, would create a fucking app that's going to increase suicides in females, like suicide in female teenagers, like by X amount? Who would have fucking ever predicted that? Like, the unintended consequences of your actions cannot be predicted. So don't even fucking bother. Don't even bother trying to predict. Is AI what's going to happen now that AI? Oh, what's going to happen with NFT? Oh, what's going to happen with this? Or what's going to happen with social media? Don't even fucking try to bother trying to predict what's going to happen, because I guarantee you're going to be wrong. Because everybody 50 years ago thought that by now we'd be in flying cars. Flying cars is the dumbest fucking idea ever for transportation. Like, this is how fucking stupid we are, okay? Okay. Abu Malik, give 3 reasons to not be a freaking perfectionist like me. I guess perfectionism is Here's the thing. I think everybody who suffers with perfectionism knows what they're dealing with, right? Like, it's not the perfectionism itself that's the problem. It's the overthinking, the paralysis analysis, the procrastination, right? The never finishing that. Like, how many times, like the thing about, if you're a designer, here's the thing about why perfectionism is fucking bullshit. Okay? You want to answer? I don't need 3 reasons. I'll give you 1. Because if you give me a design project to work on, I can literally work on that design project until the day that I die and still not be done. There you go. That's why perfectionism is bullshit. If you want me to work on a post forever and keep making it perfect, I can keep making it perfect forever until the end of time. That's the reason why perfectionism is bullshit. There you go. Next question. Okay. Urban Creative PDX. I get the concept about niching down, but let's say your niche is car detailing companies. How do you guarantee one detailing company that will attract more customers, increase sales, and grow, and then do the same for detailing companies down the street? I mean, it's the same thing, right? It's like, why would somebody go to this accounting firm versus this accounting firm? Why would somebody go to this lawyer? Why would somebody go to this web designer versus this web designer, right? Like, for example, why would somebody go to this mechanic versus this mechanic? I'll give you a good example. I always give this example. Okay, so let's say I have a car and my battery died, and the battery died a couple of times, right? Like, it died, I jump started it, I ran for a little bit, but then I left it in the supermarket and it died again, right? And then I changed the battery, and that worked for a couple weeks, and then it happened again and died again. Okay, now I bring it to the mechanic, and this mechanic comes out, and he's not even looking at me. He didn't even check the car, and he's going like, okay, oh yeah, thank you. He's just looking at his clipboard. You're all good. Okay, all good. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we'll just replace the battery and let you know. We'll call you when you're done. Boom. That's how he acts. Now, that's mechanic number A. Okay, here's mechanic number B, who comes to you, and he's like, oh, hey, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Let me just ask you a few questions. Has this happened before? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it has happened, and then and then what happened? And then you went to the supermarket, and then you were there for like 10 minutes, and then you came out, and it was that. And then what happened? And you replaced the but then 2 weeks later it happened again. Oh, so that might actually be the alternator. Let me just take a look at it, blah 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 blah, and then I say, okay, it might be the alternator. Like, we'll take a look at it and we'll get back to you. Okay, who do you trust more? Which mechanic do you trust more? Mechanic A or mechanic B, right? So if you want to talk about, like, how do you differentiate yourself as a mechanic? How are you going to differentiate it from this mechanic? That's how, right? This is how you can differentiate yourself from anything. Like, the way we differentiate ourselves at Night Owl, we're just a web design company like anyone else. But when clients come into us and talk to us, they can feel the difference. Those differentiators, those things that makes you different, it's not just a brand message. It's not just some fucking tagline you say, oh, we're all about transparency. Oh, we're all about authenticity. No, it's not those things. It's not the fucking slogan. Okay? Well, like, when you're really about authenticity, when they walk into the door, they can feel it. Okay? When you really are all about innovation, when they walk in the door, they can feel it. Whatever you say your slogan is, whatever you say your brand is, if it really is that, you don't have to fucking say it's that. They can feel it. Okay? So that's the difference. I would say it's not just good customer service, though. Because some people don't want good, like some people want to go to a restaurant. I just want to fucking get my food. Don't fucking talk to me. I just want to get my food as fast as I can, just eat it and get the fuck out of there. That's all I want. Okay? Whereas some people want to go to a restaurant, Hey, how are you? They want to make friends with the waiter and they want to have a conversation. Hey, what do you recommend today? Oh, what's good today? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then they recommend this to you. Like, they want to have this dining experience. Okay? These are two completely different customers who want two completely different experience. What I'm saying is this. As a restaurant, you have a decision to make. Every business that you run, you can sit there. Oh, restaurant is a restaurant. What's the difference? Oh, mechanic is a mechanic. What's the difference? Oh, you can car detailing company is a car detailing company. You can say that, or you can say, oh, you can just double down on every decision exactly what you want, and then you can serve that crowd, right? If somebody just wants to be fucking in and out, in and out, in and out, don't fucking talk to me. I want to book everything online, just in and out, quick, 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 quick. I just care about speed and getting it done fast. Then serve that audience. If somebody wants more personal attached, more consultation, then serve that audience. Depends on who you are, who you want. This is why your personality is your brand. You can't fucking lie and say, oh, my brand is all about this and my brand is all about this and act a different. You can't do that. Like, your brand is all it is just a translation of what you're already doing, what your reputation already is. Because you've already built the reputation. Whether you like it or not, you've already built the reputation. Whether you agree with it or not, your reputation is you. Okay? So you've already built that. So you can't fucking change it by writing a new slogan. All you gotta do is find out what that is. Okay. Kudos al-Hiti. Many great ideas in mind, but not executing due to lack of actions and resources. Yeah, there's no such thing as a good idea. I'll tell you that. That's actually a slogan for one of my clients, Mark Randolph. There is no such thing as a good idea. Sorry, there's no such thing. How many times you see Uber and be like, somebody's like, oh, I had that idea 2 years ago. Or somebody says, oh, I had that. No, there's no fucking thing as a good idea. If you look at the Macintosh, right? Like, Macintosh changed the personal computing game. But 3 years before the Macintosh, Xerox PARC came up with the first GUI computer. But it was a piece of shit. It wasn't usable. If you want to scroll a mouse from here to here, what you have to do is you have to scroll down and then you have to scroll like this. Okay? You can only have one window open at a time. You have to close the window and then you can open another application. And then you have to close that application before you can open another application, right? So what Macintosh did was they saw the idea, but they saw that the idea is fucking brilliant, but the execution fucking sucked. So nobody wanted to use it. So what they did was they took the idea and they actually turned it into something. See, Steve Jobs actually says this, right? Steve Jobs actually said this. When Steve Jobs left, the reason why Apple failed is because Apple thought that a good idea was 90% of business. But no, the good idea is the 10%. And the execution of that idea is what makes it the 90%, is what makes it successful. Okay? So your good ideas in your fucking head that you have doesn't mean shit until you fucking put it out in the world and you test it. Because I guarantee you, your good idea, once you put it out in the world, it'll fail. And then once it fails, you're going to see why it failed, and you're going to tweak it, and you're going to fix it, and you're going to fix it, and you're going to keep working on it until it gets to a point where it works. And that's where the real effort is. That's the real work, not the fucking idea. Anybody could come up with a fucking million. Anybody could come up with an idea like, oh, we should just build an app where somebody can fucking take the app and they can be the driver and somebody can book them and they can come pick them up. Anybody come up with that? That's fucking stupid idea. But not everybody can build Uber. Do you fucking get it? So idea is worth dime a dozen. Like, ideas are dime a dozen. It's worth jack shit. The execution is what's worth it. So if you want to take actions, this is how you do it. This is actually advice that came directly from Mark Randolph, my client. So one of the students at this university asked him, like, "Oh, I have this idea for where you can it's kind of like rent a closet, right? Oh, like the dresses that I have in my closet, the dresses that I don't wear or something like that, I can put it out and I can sell it, or I can somebody can rent it, blah blah blah, and I can build an app that'll do that." And this was years ago, right? So she had this fucking business plan with a pitch thing. Like she's like, "Oh, how do I get funding? How do I get money?" And shit like that, right? That's what she was asking. And you know what Mark Randolph said? He said that you're not at the fucking stage where you get funding. Like, I mean, that's not how he said it. This is how I would say it. But the first, he said what you should do is grab a piece of paper with a marker and write down, "Hey, need some clothes? Knock on my door," and put it outside your dorm room and see if anybody knocks on the door. And then if somebody knocks on the door, then rent it to them and start like that. And then see where that goes. And then build the next step, next step, next step. That's how you fucking build a business. Okay? What everybody wants to do is raise their fucking $1 million with their fucking pitch deck and then go on to fucking San Francisco and build your fucking beauties, like fucking fancy office and hire your fucking developers and then fucking not like build a fucking shit that doesn't work, that nobody fucking works, and then now you fucking waste $1 million. That's what all you want to do. But the right way to do it is put a fucking sign out your door that says, "Hey, you want to borrow my dress? Knock on this door." See how many people knock on the door. If you have that sign there for a month and nobody knocks on your door, that means you have a fucking piece of shit idea business. Because nobody fucking wants it. So that's how you start. That's how you start. Don't fucking say, I have lack of actions and resources. Blah, blah, blah. No. Take that fucking first step today. Whatever you can do today to test out your idea as fast as you can, test it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Test it today. The execution is where it's at. Every fucking moron has ideas, okay? Every fucking moron in this world has ideas. You fucking you come and tell me, yeah, I have good ideas. You think that means anything to me? Every fucking monkey and moron has ideas. Okay? Ideas are worth jack shit. Every fucking one had the idea of fucking Uber. Everyone had the fucking idea, okay? Okay. Abdallah Studio. How to break into speaking up. I plan to start reels. You know, like, here's the thing about anything, right? If you want to do something that you're afraid of, what you're afraid to do, here's umbrella advice for all of you, okay? Everything you want to do stand up, you want to speak on stage, you want to start designing, you want to be a coder, you want to do this, you want to be a swimmer, whatever you want to do this. Think of it as riding a bicycle, right? When you first learn how to ride a bicycle, that first one, you just have to have blind faith. It's scary as hell, but you gotta fucking, it's, right? Because when you slow down, you're gonna fall. So they say speed up, because you have to speed up, otherwise you're gonna fall. So you're scared, but you just have to take the blind faith and speed up so that you can. But once you feel it, and once you feel comfortable, once you know how it works, once you got that feeling down, then you're confident. Now it's not scary anymore, and now you can confidently get on that bike over and over and over and over again, right? That's how I would say anything about it. If you have fear of public speaking, it's just like that. The first time you do it, it's gonna be like that guy on that bike and falling. And the few times, it's gonna require a tremendous amount of courage for you to learn how to ride a bicycle in the beginning, to learn how to ski in the beginning, to learn how to swim in the beginning. Because it takes a tremendous amount of courage and blind faith to try those things in the beginning. But then once you do it and realize it's not so bad, once you do it again, and at some point the confidence builds, and now you have confidence, right? But you will never, ever, never in your entire life have confidence the first time you do anything. There's no fucking way. That's where courage comes. That's where blind faith and courage comes into play. Okay? So how do I break into speaking up? I'm telling you, the first few times, blind courage. You just gotta bite your tongue and do it. Okay, I'll do one more question. Sorry, this went so long. I'll do one more question, and then We'll do the rest next week. Okay, Spaz Creative. How do you get the motivation to take the next step? Like if I feel frozen to take the next step. The reason why you feel frozen to take the next step means that you don't know if that's the right direction or not. So when I say take the next right step, I'm not talking about plan out all your steps and then just do the next step. That's not what I meant. What I mean by taking the next step is you have to use your intuition and you have to look at those things and you have to, for example, you have a choice, right? Every morning you wake up and whatever you set the alarm at, and then you hit the snooze button. Now you have a decision to make. You can wake up, put on your sneakers, and go for a run like you planned to the night before, which is what you want deep down in your heart. But at that exact moment when you wake up, what you want to do is hit the snooze button and go back to bed. Yeah, okay. Now you have a decision to make. What's the right next step? I'm going to ask you, what's the right next step? You know what the right next step is, but are you taking the right next step, right? So the reason why you're not taking the right next step is because you feel that there's this hidden destination that you need to get to. And if you don't take the right steps, then you cannot get to it. But what if I tell you that the destination is unknown, and you have to take those steps, and the steps might take you here and then here and then here, and then ultimately wherever it brings you was where you were supposed to go, right? It's kind of like this, right? It's like, the next job you're taking, the person that you marry, the person that you date, okay? The vacation you're going, whatever career, whatever business you're building, whatever brand you're building, all of those things, those are just tiny little video games. That's not your life, okay? Those are tiny little video games, okay? So look at it this way. Let's say you play a video game with your friend and you lost that video game, but you still had fun with your friend. And that's what it's all about, right? That's what, in a high level, what life is all about. But what's going to happen is you're going to get frozen and you're going to be miserable. You're going to be unfulfilled and unclear if you keep trying to define your entire life, your entire reason for existing in your being, and your entire everything into this one thing. Like, I need this purpose. And this is what I mean by fucking what Simon Sinek did fucked us up. It's because Simon Sinek told us that every single one of us has one why. All of us have this one why that's implanted deeply in us. And we all need to find that one why. And that's what we are here for. Once you start thinking life like that, every day you don't find that shit, you're gonna be fucking miserable. And I'll end it with this. There is no fucking thing as a why. There's no fucking thing as a purpose. There is no such thing as why were we put on this earth for? Why you were put on this earth to do? Like, what? Why was this rock put on this earth for? Why was that tree put on this earth for? Why was that mountain put on this earth? Why was that shark put on this earth for? Do you know why? Because 14 billion years ago, a fucking Big Bang happened, and 4 billion years ago, this fucking planet Earth came, and then through some fucking chemical fucking miracle or whatever, one single cell organism life started, and then that evolved and evolved and evolved, and then evolved to create humans, and the humans did all of this, and then fucking 4 billion years later, this is what happened. So if you fucking ask me, why are we here? Why is this? Why do we do fucking anything we do? I guarantee you, there's no fucking why. There's no fucking answer there. So don't fucking look for this one why just because fucking Simon Sinek told you. What the fuck does Simon Sinek know? He's not fucking Jesus, okay? So Don't look for that why, please. Just take the next fucking... Okay, here's what I'll say. Stop looking for your why. Stop looking for your purpose. Because this is your purpose. This is your why. Your purpose for living is to live life. That's your why. You want to know your why? Your why is to live life. That's it. Don't try to fucking add some fucking unnecessary, unneeded fucking fake meaning to that shit. Okay? That's where I'm going to end it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for staying all the way through. I'll see you guys next week and answer more questions. Cheers. Bye, everyone. Bye.